again. If we're broken apart after all of these years, I know I'll find you again. In the drop of your tears, in the beat of my heart, I will leave on the line.
Welcome to the most requested video on my channel. Now I just have to figure out if I can drive Zach's hatch. And oh my god, it's loud. Alright, so my very first impression of Mr. Zach Smith's hatch is that the clutch is ridiculous. It's a 4-putt clutch, so you really gotta kind of ride it out to go. And you pretty much have to get it to the top, and you just, to shift gears, you just gotta like dump it essentially to keep it up, essentially, to keep the RPMs up. Yeah, this review I'm probably gonna have to speak up pretty loud because it's an open downpipe. Going to another stop sign, and go. The first impression I get when I drive this is very much I'm driving a commuter car. It's a big bubble, essentially, great visibility, and it's no wonder why it's a great car to go from point A to point B. But once you decide to put some power in it, it's definitely a grocery getter. I'm not used to that front wheel drive sensation at all, but it's actually pretty controllable from what I've managed so far. In the car is a B20B. It has a Garrett 60-1. It's only pushing around 8 pounds of boost, so it's a nice conservative setup. It has around 260 wheel horsepower, but that's already enough to spin the front tires of the Honda. As many people know, Honda as platforms, it's very difficult to prevent the front tires from spinning once you start putting some power down. It's definitely a different sensation for sure driving a front wheel drive car with any sort of power. I've pretty much only driven rear wheel drive or all wheel drive with power, so it's definitely a new experience. Cluster on this is in kilometers. It's the JDM SIR cluster, so I'm getting very confused because I'm not used to kph instead of mile per hour. And it also has this really nice Nardi steering wheel. When we filmed the glamour shots for this video, it didn't have it, but now it's finally installed, and it has a very nice feel to it. It's so funny because there's so much vibration from the open downpipe that all of the mirrors are vibrating like if you had a huge sound system in the car. The entire time you're just cruising along, it's just shaking. Zach tells me that when you start in second, you gotta like slam it into third essentially to keep the RPMs up and keep it from bogging like that. And it's because of the turbo and it wants to bog. So when you do a second, by default, it corners very nice. And let's go. Woo! Thing rips, man. You wouldn't think it would because it's only 260 horsepower, but it's definitely a fun toy, that's for sure. Hondas definitely have that legacy of go fast for cheap, so to speak, because it's such a light car, it's such a light platform that usually when you do put power into them, it's a drastic change. A lot of people, this is only my opinion, you have to have a lot of patience to do this sort of thing because your motor, if you're not careful, is likely to blow if you don't get it tuned right, and so to speak. This is just from my personal observation. It's very much a respectful game of people swapping and trial and error, so to speak. But when people get it right, they get it right pretty well. So It's awesome. As I go around a bend, I've never really experienced the kind of front wheel drive understeer that you get by default when you have something with power and front wheel drive, but so far, if you just kind of work your way through it, I'm no expert or anything obviously, but if you kind of work your way through it, it's gravy, it's fine. What also is good is that the seats in this are not the stock EG seats, they're the Type R seats, and they're actually very, very comfortable so far, and they kind of keep you in place more than the stock EG seats do. You want to know why Zach Smith turboed his Honda? He got bored. They just had some parts laying around in the garage, and voila, they turboed his Honda. See, that's so weird to me because, you know, to boost, like, say my Mustang or a domestic or something, that takes a lot of planning and a lot of tuning, so to speak, or at least a good revised flash tune. But there it is, like, yeah, we'll tune it later and slap it on. It'll be fine. Zach's Honda, believe it or not, and I'm sorry, Zach, for saying this, it needed some loving. About a year ago, when I met Zach, this car was a faded red, and it looked like that GM faded pink red, so to speak, like you would see on like an old Corvette or something. It was pretty bad. The roof had enough dents on it that you could surf on it. It was just like a waves, and it was just rough. Like, and it had a single cam in it. A boosted single cam, which ended up blowing up right by Hampton Coliseum in Newport News. It was a D16Y7. It was just, I don't care, whatever, let's just make it kind of fast. And he doesn't care if it blows up. Just like this B20, he doesn't care if it blows up either. I don't know how Honda people have that mentality, but I salute you. However, I went to a car meet a few months later, and I saw this beautiful hatch pull up, and I said, wow, whose Honda hatch does that belong to? I really like it. And Zach was standing right next to me. He goes, dude, it's mine. And I had no idea because it had been completely renovated. The car used to be lower, but now, in my opinion, it's much more functional. He had much more of a stanced out car, so to speak. But in the end, that ended up just how most stance stories end. His tires were dead. The inside of them had no grip or tread left. And if you want a car to be faster, all that does is hurt you and discourage you. So he raised it up just a little bit, and it still looks fantastic in my opinion. Oh, you get that little turbo chirp noise? It's the best. I remember the very first time that I drove with Zach somewhere when he had it boosted, and you know, he's just next to me making it chirp and everything. I'm like, God, that's so great. Turbo noise is just so great. It's always good to see a Honda done right, and I fully admit that. Just like when we filmed recently my friend Cody Powell's EK hatch. He ran 11s in the video that we shot, but not too much later, he ran a 10.9 in it. Of course, it was spinning a lot. That's just the life of Honda. But it did it. That's still awesome. After a while, I've definitely gotten more accustomed to the clutch. It's one of those you just have to like beat into submission. You just gotta smack it down into the floorboard and just like, it's fine, you got this. And you just have confidence and you slam it into gear. This was tuned by a nice guy named Julius at Edge Motorsports in Richmond, Virginia. Lots of nice guys there. Zach's cousin Noel with his beautiful hatch also works there. So they really do know what they're doing. So if you're ever in Richmond and you have a Honda that wants to be boosted and tuned, they know what they're doing. They're a lot of great guys, and I respect them very much. So yeah, this was my first experience driving a boosted Honda, and it was a good time. I highly enjoyed it. I want to thank Zach so much for letting me drive his baby. I know he doesn't like people driving it that much, as anybody would. And I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching, and take it easy.